Africa fans, Happy New Year to all of you. Well, well, can I say that the sun is shining a little brighter in Africa? The big five animals are marching together, and the African leaders are finally putting their foot down and dusting off the vestiges of colonialism. Let's talk about it. A bit of history on this first, about the colonial wig itself. Now, did you know that these curly blonde wigs have been used in court since the 1600s, during the reign of Charles II, when they became a symbol of the British judicial system? Now, some historians say that they were initially popularized by the French, France's King Louis XIV, who was trying to conceal his balding head. Go figure, it started from a French man hiding his bald head. So even though the British gave up their last colonies in Africa half a century ago, they left behind their wigs. Not just any wig. They are the long white horsehair, literally horsehair locks, worn by high court judges, and King George III also used to wear it. They became so old-fashioned and uncomfortable that even the British barristers have stopped wearing them and disliked them some time ago. Now, other countries in the British Commonwealth, such as Australia and Canada, also inherited the wigs and robes and have moved toward moving them from the courtrooms. But in former British colonies in Africa, such as Kenya, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Malawi, and a few others, these wigs live on, worn by judges and lawyers. Now, a new generation of African citizens and leaders are asking, why are the continent's most prominent legal minds, some of the smartest, still wearing the trappings of the colonizers? It's not just a question of aesthetics. The wigs and robes are perhaps the most glaring symbol of colonial inheritance. Now, the sprinkles of colonialism are still scattered across the continent in other ways. There are the Queen's namesakes all over Africa, the Victoria Falls of Zimbabwe and Zambia, Lake Victoria bordering 3 countries in Eastern Africa, Victoria Island in Nigeria. There's the left lane driving, the cricket game, the way public education is organized. We still adapt that. We still utilize that in Africa, and so on and so on. Excuse me. So although there have been some changes in some cities and streets across Africa, they've given new names since European rule ended. Yet the ugly court wig survives, along with other symbolisms of the colonial courtroom. The red robes, the white bows, references to judges as my lord and my lady. Sounds regal though, sort of. But emerging new African political leaders, however, are making bold changes to their individual countries. You may have heard by now that Burkina Faso has banned colonial-era judicial wigs, and that nation is embracing cultural identity and advancing efforts to decolonize the nation's legal system. Now, Burkina Faso's president, Ibrahim Traore, French spelling, Traore, has officially prohibited judges from wearing British and French colonial-era wigs in a landmark effort to decolonize the nation's judiciary system. In making that announcement, President Traore emphasized the need to abandon colonial-era customs and honor Burkina Faso's own cultural identity. Now, this decision by him aligns with a wider initiative to strengthen national identity and affirm the country's independence from foreign influences. Now, the colonial wigs, literally made of horsehair, as I mentioned before, to me, they kind of look more like cotton balls pulled out of old leather bus seats glued together. Sorry, but that's my truth. So, colonial wigs have historically represented external control within African judicial systems. But Burkina Faso joins a growing number of African nations, taking steps to replace such remnants of colonial rule with traditions rooted in local culture. This move reflects an expanding movement across Africa, where nations are critically reassessing colonial inheritances and transitioning towards practices that better align with their own cultural heritage. It truly marks a significant cultural shift. symbolizing a broader effort to reclaim and celebrate indigenous values across the continent of Africa. So there are several other major milestones achieved by this new president of only 2 years, can you believe it, of Burkina Faso. Here are some significant ones to note. First of all, let me tell you that the captain, Ibrahim Traore, he was in the military, a captain, the president of Burkina Faso, is only 36 years old, one of 2 young leaders all around the world currently. So some of the other key political milestones that he achieved is that now Burkina Faso's GDP grew from approximately 18 billion to 22 billion within that 2-year span. He also rejected loans from the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank. He said Africa does not need, quote, Africa does not need the World Bank, IMF, Europe, or America. Basically, his country can do it on its own. So he reduced the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians by 30% and increased the salaries of civil servants by 50%. He paid off Burkina Faso's local debts. He established 2 tomato processing plants, the first ever in Burkina Faso. And in 2023, he inaugurated a state-of-the-art gold mine to enhance local processing capabilities. He stopped the export of unrefined Burkina Faso gold to Europe. He also built Burkina Faso's second cotton processing plant. Previously, they only had 1. So he opened the first even national support center for artisanal cotton processing to assist local cotton farmers. He also prioritized agriculture by distributing over 400 tractors, 239 tillers, 710 motor pumps, and 714 motorcycles to boost production and support rural stakeholders, and this also includes farmers. He promised access to improve seed and other farm inputs to maximize agricultural output. Tomato production in Burkina Faso increased from 315,000 metric tons in 2022 to 360,000 metric tons in 2024. That's a big jump. So millet production rose from 907,000 metric tons in 2022 to 1.1 million metric tons in 2024. Another milestone is that rice production increased in Burkina Faso from 280,000 metric tons in 2022 to 326,000 metric tons in 2024. So Ibrahim Traore banned French military operations in Burkina Faso. The French are gone. He also banned French media in Burkina Faso. He expelled French troops from Burkina Faso. His government is constructing new roads, widening existing ones, and upgrading gravel roads to paved surfaces. He's building a new airport in the capital, which is expected to be completed sometime this year in 2025, with a capacity to handle 1 million plus passengers annually. Now, can we all say bravo to the leadership of Burkina Faso? How about we give Burkina Faso a hand? I hope you found my sharing informative today. Please follow my channel and subscribe if you have not already. Until next time, peace and love to you. Bye-bye and see you next time.